Tom Doody, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Doody in a Google search from my site, Weehawken, New Jersey. Those buildings are on the corner of 60th and Boulevard East. And there's a Midtown Manhattan skyline my wife will read from her blog. Ciao, ciao.
Hi, this is Hana Miyajima-Doody, married to middle-aged American living near the Lincoln Tunnel. This is a blog I wrote on the occasion of Anthony Bourdain premature death. It was more than like an homage to Anthony Bourdain. It's been almost a week since Anthony Bourdain's suicide. I was left sadly baffled, reconciling his untimely, self-inflicted end. A man with sharp and quick wits who never refrained from speaking out his mind, did not seem to hold anything back, and right on point on anything he discussed. Through his beloved shows, we all came to know his personality, and because of his extraordinary storytelling skills, he was the older, cool guy we all wished to hang out with. So how did the demon of depression took over such an apparently self-assured but not self-absorbed personality? Of course, nobody knows what was happening behind the doors and the intimate depths of his mind. We often learn that highly intelligent and talented individuals have a hard time functioning in regular life as regular people. And there's an interruption. Oh boy. Okay. In the case of Bourdain, it was hard to understand this last statement because he was out there through his shows and social medias and came out as an all-around rounded guy who overcame his battle with addiction, had good friends, ironically Mr. Eric Rippert had to find him lifeless, had become a father, was in a meaningful relationship again, lived intensely through his job, and was capable of enjoying the privileges, the pleasant and the less pleasant aspects of his job. He was the kind of man capable of living through the thick and thin and going through the lows and highs of life. He built knowledge and resilience. He was not afraid of making mistakes and of failing. And his shows were a platform where he could express it as he wanted to. He had carte blanche, no restrictions, and that personal, direct approach was the key to his enormous success. This is a guy who achieved it all on his own terms in an industry such as entertainment, where being so outspoken and honest with oneself is not often advisable. In one of his last interviews, he candidly said he despised competence in a traveling show, a conventional way of talking about traveling that does not have room for expletives and opinions. He despised normalcy in narration. Nowadays, there are so many travel bloggers on YouTube, and he inspired all of us to find a bit of Anthony Bourdain within. I feel like for someone like Mr. Bourdain, who solely believing in himself, was able to break through by defying mediocrity and convention, and was able to succeed and was admired for doing that, the standard of expectations was high at all times. He was set to show us all how to be open-minded, caring, curious, adventurous, appreciative of diversity, in one word, better, through exploring other countries and their history, food, and people. I somehow came to the conclusion, and this is the result of my personal thinking only, that he got to a point where he sensed there was no next mission in his life. And having so fully lived and enjoyed it, this was the appropriate time to end it. In a moment of total insanity, I add, because to us he was far from being done. We will miss him. This is Hana Miyajima-Doody, married to middle-aged American living in New Jersey. Ciao!
All right, there's an opportunity to date stamp this video. And unfortunately with the sun, I can't look through the viewer, but I believe there's a skyscraper in this frame that is much taller than anything near it. It's under construction. There's a construction crane all the way on top, and about 3/4 of the tower is now covered with glass. So this is April 2019. That building will soon be finished. I think it has the title of the tallest residential tower, certainly in New York City, and maybe the nation, and maybe even more than that. You know, the continent, the world, I don't know. It is at Broadway and 57th. So more specifically, it's north of 57th, east of Broadway, south of 58, and west of 6th. Ciao, ciao.